From our homes to yours, our Saturday Tower Garden Zoom call with special guest speakers Reggie Hicks, Margorie Townsend, Candace, Corson. Join us every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Hicks Sisters Zoom call. Ask for the password.
I'm Beverly Grandison, as Adrian said, National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company. This is what has brought all of us together. It's an amazing community of people, a 50-year-old company. GQ Farmer, my husband Johnny, and I have been with the company for 16 years. It is very real. It's an amazing organization globally, now in 26 countries. You heard Adrian, for those of you who might not have heard, just jumped on about the Juice Plus product. That's what the company actually, before that, in 1970, the company started with the smoke detectors. The president, Jay Martin, the founder, and still in the seat today, alive and well. Back then in the 70s, started with the smoke detectors. Then in the 80s, water filters. Then 92 was when the Juice Plus product came out. You heard Adrian mention that. Fruits and veggies in a capsule. We only have 6 products, a very small product line. And the Juice Plus product is clinically researched in now 40 or more clinical journal articles that are very legit. We can't pay our way in there. So guys, look, for those new people, and we always have new people on the line, welcome to this amazing call. This you will hear from other Tower Garden growers. So I'm excited to hear our speaker, but I will tell you that this product has significantly changed my husband's and I life over now, well, going on 16 years now. So chronic fatigue, different ailments going on, a autoimmune disease. And today, 16 years later, I can tell you, because of lifestyle changes, a lot of prayer, I'm medicine-free, in control of my health, fabulous 50, and feeling really good. So I will tell you that you are in the right place at the right time with the right company, with the right product for sure. If you're just looking into just as a customer, absolutely. By the time you get off this call, you will want to purchase Tower Guard. It's very affordable, economical, and it makes sense. And then if you're looking to join us as a partner, we definitely need more warriors on the ground. So I will tell you that I'm excited to have you all here. As always, we're looking to grow this amazing community, max out these lines every Saturday to over 100. And we're going to eventually start streaming it into some of our other Facebook pages. So definitely get connected with the person who invited you. And we look forward to truly inspiring healthy living around the world.
Well, hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on this call and some of the other great hosts. It gives us the opportunity to just share some of the many great things that are going on in the country, but as we impact other people's health. And as Beverly said, even though the theme of this call is for the Tower Gardens, many of us came through different doors to get to where we are. Some of which came through the Juice Plus product door, some through the Tower Garden door, and even some through the franchise of the business itself. And so with us, we had some health challenges, and some neighbors of ours pretty much said, hey, you know what, you can beat this, but it's in your diet. Get rid of all the white pasta, white sugar, white flour, anything white and processed, take out your diet and eat more fruits and vegetables. And then in 2012, they actually introduced the Tower Garden to the company. And it was just a great way and a great introduction into not only helping people take control of their health, but to help them take control of their food source. And so what I'm going to do now is turn my camera around where you get an opportunity to see the Tower Garden Flex, which is the original model. It actually has a 20-gallon reservoir down at the base of the tower, and then it has a pump in it that pushes the water and the nutrients up to the center of the tower, and then it showers the root system as the water comes back down. So here with the Tower Garden, the base, the Flex has 20 different plant sites, ports that you can actually grow produce. And with us, we actually introduced an accessory called the microgreens accessory that we can put right on top of it. Both towers come with LED lights that you can put on as an accessory, and you can grow it indoors. You can take those lights off, you can take it outdoors. The Tower Garden Home is the newest model. Instead of 20 gallons, it actually has a 13-gallon base at the bottom. It too, the water goes up to the center. It comes with 16 full-size ports and then 16 baby green ports. You can add another accessory to this one. So we did for the baby greens. So this tower actually has 64 plant sites that you can do. Again, you have the tower, the LED grow lights that allow you to grow both indoors and outdoors. And so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna walk outdoors to our deck. And so you got a chance to see the flowers on Beverly's screen share, but this is actually the towers that we now put back up here. So we have 4 towers out on our deck at the moment that are actually up and have produce in them. We actually have a 5th here that we'll be having up in another week or so. And it gives you the ability to grow pretty much anything other than root plants, root vegetables like beets and potatoes and carrots that try to grow into the unit. But you have the opportunity to grow the things that you like. Here, as the temperature has gotten a little warmer, we've taken off the greenhouse, but you can see the tomatoes and some of the zucchini and squash down at the bottom of it. You see some of the pak choy. There's a beautiful bouquet there. We have 5 or 6 different types of kale. We have sesame kale, and Korean curly kale, and Russian kale, and some mint starting to flower there. You just have a variety of things that you can grow. And so that's the great thing about it. Having fun and getting healthy at the same time. And as you get a chance to listen to the other speakers and the other hosts, you're going to see many of the things that you get an opportunity to grow in, some of the experiences that we've all had. And so just have fun with it. And so with that, I'm going to actually
Let me say this real quick, hon. I just want to make sure you all know that while you're listening to the speakers, none of us are making any claims that Juice Plus heals, prevents, reverse, or cures anything. Neither are we making any income claims. So just know that this is a very real franchise for $52 a year. And you're going to get into an amazing community of like-minded people that really care about changing the footprint of our younger generation behind us by growing good health and teaching them how to eat good health.
This community here has been such a key component in helping me grow a healthier every single day. Finding out about whole food nutrition was one thing, but being surrounded by a community that is really flooding their body with whole food concentrates, plant-based omegas, and growing their own food has made such a huge difference, because that always keeps me upping my game. And that has made such a difference for everyone over here. And so we're completely grateful. Coming into gardening with absolutely no gardening experience whatsoever, this community, all I had to do was continue to reach out, and they were always there to answer questions and just help me keep moving forward. I've also had questions along the way about, what are you growing this season? And I love seeing bare towers that are getting ready to have new plants go in. And I love when all of us are, in full bloom. So what I'm going to show you today are the towers that I'm also getting ready for spring gardening. One that I have indoors that is in full bloom. And then also I'm going to show some seedlings that I have that we'll be putting in. Steps away from my kitchen, I have the indoor home unit. And so through some wonderful friends, I've learned more about growing like dandelion. And this I just can take right out and then have these beautiful clean roots. And the dandelion root is so healthy for you. All of these are my herbs. So I have dill, fennel, cilantro, oregano, rosemary, thyme, lavender, echinacea, chamomile. I'm even learning some new herbs because I keep doing, Google searches on the most powerful things to really put in your body. Here's some more sage, fennel. It's so super easy to grow parsley. And now I'm really excited that I'm not only eating these salads every day and adding all of these good herbs and, cooking with them, but I'm also adding them into new dishes. And so here's my latest creation. I made some shortbread with some pansies, and yes, everything that I grow is edible. This tower is the flex, and it will be heading outside now that the weather is warm. Look at all these beautiful blooms that I'm able to get right here in the house. Collards, marigolds, calendula, some more marigolds, and even this will go outside because I know that the tomatoes often need more space, but so far we have some blooms for tomatoes. They're coming in. pumpkin, spaghetti squash, and these arrived in the mail. These are seedlings that we will just take these out and add them right into the tower. On the back, let me see, we have more collards and kale and more varieties of tomatoes. What I love is that this is just a quick walk right to my kitchen. And even right outside, I am so in love with outdoor gardening that I feel as though I have like a farmer's market right on my back patio. Here I'm growing kale and celery and pansies, the pansies that I use. I'm adding greens into my smoothies. I have spring onions and some more herbs here. And here's Bubba Jr. just continuing. I harvest and keep growing. So this plant is well over a year old. This is my everyday salad, my meal starter, because this has onions and celery and kale, cilantro, oregano, Swiss chard, rainbow chard, different types of lettuce. And this, the microgreen section, this is a bumper crop of microgreen kale, red kale, and it's just so super delicious. I love the blooms that I have here. And then right here, we're getting ready for to put the seedlings in that you saw that I had inside the house. I love to hear everybody's story. Thank you so much for having this call every Saturday.
I get to share with my family and friends. And all the other businesses I got involved with, my wife was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So finally, I brought the Juice Plus to her and said, well, what about this? Grow your own food. She jumped on board right away. And I was like sick. I was shocked. I was like, wow, finally something my wife wants to do that I do. Juice Plus. So she jumped in, all hands, and she's been sharing the product. She's been doing different things with it, and she loves the product. She loved the Juice Plus products, plant-based nutrition. And when she doesn't have it, she be like, I need my Juice Plus. Where's my Juice Plus at? She gets all crazy about it. But that, like I said, the Juice Plus products is awesome. I love the shakes. The shakes are awesome. You can mix them with anything, chocolate or vanilla. Awesome, beautiful shakes. Like I said, I've been involved for 1 year and I'm not going nowhere. And now I'm going to show y'all my Tower Garden, which I love so much. See my Tower Garden here? I got some chard on top. I can just take those off and put it in my blender and make it with my Juice Plus shakes. It's delicious. Some more chard over here. Then I got my sweet basil down here, my sweet basil right here. My sweet basil is, oh, I just love my sweet basil. Then come over here. I got some kale up here. Come down here. I got some more kale down here. I got collard greens over here growing. I got down here, I got my melons. It's trying to grow over here. Come over here. I even got scallions. Look at this, green onions. Oh, they're so delicious. Green onions I have right here. Come back over here. Oh, I got green garlic behind my, over here. You still got the kale up top. I gotta get me another Tower Garden. That's my Tower Garden right there. Just showing y'all. And this is just a great organization to be a part of. It's a great community. Everybody works together as a team. We all smile and have fun. And I'm not going nowhere.
I get to see like this incredible revolution of all the plants. And it just reminds me, I have so many great memories, but I'm going to share my screen really quickly. So a little bit about me. I live in Key West, Florida. My name is Margorie Townsend. I am a mother of two beautiful children, Zoe and Remy, and I am married to a Coast Guard man named Justin. And I'm so happy that I'm here with you tonight, and I love these Saturday calls. I am a new cute SSC with the Juice Plus company. Woo! Finally! And I've been with the company now for 7 years, and I have experienced so many transitions that have brought such great developments into my life. So I'm happy to share that with you today. I wanted to give some gratitude to my parents. My mom and my dad They raised me so well, and I'm very thankful for that. They introduced me to healthy living as a young child. So a lot of the things that I have been doing as an adult, I attest to them, and I just want to say thank you for that. And it leads me into the beginning of my story with this beautiful mission of inspiring healthy living, which is the picture on the right is my daughter when she was brand new and she's sitting on top of the horse. I'm from Charlotte and Asheville, North Carolina, so that's in Asheville, North Carolina, and we're taking some pictures of her. But that's really where my story began, because I was a new mother and I was trying to bring my body back into balance. And if any of you have had children or know someone who have children, like, your body really takes a hit, right? And so I went for a run and I was like, oh my gosh, everything is moving in my body. Things are not doing right. I still have that baby weight. My hormones are raging. And I, was doing what I was raised to do, which I decided to juice. So I was juicing lots of different fruits and vegetables, berries, every day in a way to bring my body back into balance. Now, if any of you have juiced or you go to the grocery or to the store and pick up a juice that's pre-made for you, you know that it takes a lot of work. So as a new mother, I tried to do my best, but there were many times that I couldn't keep up with it. So my mom, watching me and knowing how it is as a young mom, said, Marjorie, I got something better for you. This is going to make your life so much more simple, and it's going to streamline everything. So I said, okay, Mom, I'll try it. And I trusted her, and I said, Mom, okay, fine. What is it that I need to do? She said, baby, I have plant powders in a capsule for you. And this is going to change the way that you are juicing. You don't have to juice anymore. It has everything that you need, 30 fruits and vegetables in a capsule, right? So I just started to consume the Juice Plus capsules, the shakes, and I found that my body did come back into balance. So I will fast forward really quickly. So this will be my transformation that I had while, I did bring my body back into balance. The weight went away from the pregnancy. But the biggest transformation that I noticed was that my skin cleared up. So the picture on the left, you will see that I suffered with cystic acne. And for any of you who know me prior to Juice Plus being introduced to my life, you'll know that my mom and I, we worked so hard. We tried apple cider vinegar to clear my skin, witch hazel, French green clay, barley. It was just so many things that we tried. And what we didn't realize is that something so simple that's in a capsule would really be the catalyst for my skin changing. So the picture is just amazing. When I look at it, I didn't even realize that my body was doing this. I didn't even really see the changes until my aunt just goes, oh my gosh, Marjorie, do you realize that your skin is clear? So that's one of the biggest things for me. After I made the change. And then, of course, my daughter in the middle, she's super excited with her little Juice Plus chewables and gummies, because at age 4, she was able to start taking Juice Plus for free for 4 years now. And she's 8, so she's continued to take her capsules. She chewed her capsules. She chews her gummies. She enjoys the shakes. And I'm so thankful that I'm raising a wonderful little girl who's super healthy. So, and then the picture on the right is a picture of me and my mother in Phoenix. We get to do this business together. We are partners on a mission, and we were visiting the True Garden in Arizona. And oh my goodness, if you haven't been to a tower farm, you need to get there, because it is absolutely incredible. So we're with our bonnets, we're walking around, and we're seeing all these different plants, and I got so excited. And I said, Mom, I'm so thankful that you introduced me to not only the Juice Plus products and all the changes that came with that, but also with the Tower Gardens. So I took the Tower Gardens and I decided to grow on one. And I was living in San Diego at the time, and we had one Tower Garden during the middle of the drought. And what I found is that my garden was growing faster than the traditional garden that we had in the yard. So I was amazed, because you know it needs water, right? Gardens need water, plants need water to grow. So my garden in the tower flourished while my traditional garden did not. So by chance, I just realized how special this garden really was. And lo and behold, 2 years after having the garden, my husband's job moves us cross country to Key West, Florida. And so that's where I am now. And you can see that the towers that I had in Key West, Florida arrived before my home goods got here. So I was growing on a tower before we even got all of our furniture. and it was right in front of my on my front door. So the picture on the left shows the Tower Gardens that we had there. I was growing green beans. My daughter, she loved being a part of the process. She loved seeing all the peppers that were in the picture on the right. And down below, you'll see the cucumbers. So this is really exciting to me. I didn't realize that our environment here is just so suitable for growing outdoors. So I put the Tower Garden in my back patio because we outgrew the front patio, and the cucumbers started cascading down my steps. I had cucumbers growing all over. I have so many cucumbers, and it was super exciting for not only myself, my family, but my neighbors. My neighbors are like, what is going on? You can't even walk up your back patio stairs. So I started sharing my cucumbers, I started sharing my green beans, my produce, my basil. So the little picture of the little guy in the middle is my neighbor. And he was so excited to get that basil, and I was so happy to share it, but it started something for us, because the next thing that we know, I realized that our little tiny community here in Key West really needed fresh produce. They needed access to better produce that wasn't coming all the way from Mexico, that was sitting in the stores for 2 weeks and losing its nutrient density. With the Tower Garden, we know that we're picking it, and it's right. It's ready for us to consume, and it's delicious. It's delicious. So my husband and I got the idea that because all of our neighbors were asking us for produce and our family were asking us for produce, why don't we just start growing produce for the public? So we decided to do a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter wasn't successful, unfortunately, but it did generate a lot of interest in our little tiny island community. And what you can see are some pictures that eventually what we started to do is every Tower Garden that I ended up selling as a partner, I would reinvest that and buy another Tower Garden. And so we just started populating different venues around town with Tower Gardens. So it was super cool. We started this amazing local movement for food that is just super fresh and delicious. So the picture on the far right, you're gonna see, or excuse me, the left, you're gonna see what we took the produce to the farmers markets to generate more awareness for growing your own food. Then we put it into a local grocery store here, and then another grocery store asked us for the produce because everybody was asking, where are you getting this delicious produce? In front of Date and Time. Date and Time is a health food cafe here in Key West. And so that's another one. Now our farm, which we ended up growing into so many towers that we started a farm, we put them outside of a restaurant, and the chef would come outside, and that's at Mellow Cafe, and he would come and pick basil for the caprese salads. He would come and clip mint for the mojitos. He would go outside and get a little bit of lettuce and herbs that he needed. And down below, you'll see that there's a spinach. It's called Malabar spinach. So when Lori was talking about just learning and growing, what we found is that while I love Bloomsdale spinach, that didn't really work for us down here in Key West because of the heat. So we switched, and we decided to research ways in which we can have plants that would flourish in our high heat environments or in the summer. And we found Malabar spinach. So it has been a complete growing process, and we're so excited that our little community really took our hands and ran with it. And so a lot of people down here found a different way of growing. And I'm just going to show this picture at the top with all of the people there. We linked arms with some individuals in our community. There's a chiropractor, there's another farmer, a wholesaler, and it's someone who owns some restaurants in town. And we all banded together and we started a nonprofit. And it was absolutely incredible to see how many people really had an interest in not only just the sustainable way of growing, but the healthy lifestyle and how we can do better by our little tiny island community. So the picture on the left with the helicopter in the back, I was still so excited. I said, you know what, I'm going to bring Tower Garden to the tarmac. And I said, all right, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring it to, hold on, there we go. Let me just dismiss that. So let's go ahead and bring it to the air show to showcase it to the world, because who doesn't need to see it more? Let's bring it to a coffee shop that's on the US 1 that gets so much foot traffic so people can really see our mission of growing our own produce. And then at the top, we ended up buying this cool, funky farm truck that got a lot of awareness too, and filled it with produce, and would take it around town. We would introduce the produce to schools. We would introduce the produce to different restaurants and different chefs around town. And we had farmers markets going. We had honesty boxes going. It was so much fun, you guys. And so I just want to say thank you for allowing me to share our journey with the Tower Garden. It has been such a blessing to our family. We have we're going to be moving. So you're getting the news first. We're moving to Colorado. So pretty soon I'm going to get the opportunity to grow indoors more. So it's going to be another learning curve, and I'm super excited for that. But you know what? Start a movement in your area. Do something small that grows into something bigger. And you may not know, but I will tell you, 28 different sites for boys and girls clubs in Jacksonville area came to me and said, hey, we've been watching what you're doing. We've been seeing the posts. We've been hearing news from Key West that there's somebody growing lots of produce on a little tiny island where the soil is not good. We don't have to use soil in the Tower Gardens. And so they said, you know, can we get started? Can you help us with the children to get that into the Boys and Girls Club? And I said, absolutely. So 28 Tower Gardens went out through the company, free of charge, to the Boys and Girls Clubs. And we are so excited that we were able to showcase that to them. So I want to just go ahead and stop my PowerPoint presentation really quick and stop my share. And I'm going to show you my Tower Garden now. So I have a 1-year-old son. So in 2020, we did stop growing for the public. So we decided to bring things, hone it back in and make it more about family again so I can take care of my little guy. And I have the 2 in the background. And I'm just growing what our family needs and a little bit more to give to my neighbors. And I just harvested these tomatoes. I have cherry tomatoes. I have parsley over here, arugula, oregano, thyme. I have my kale palm trees over here on this side. Down below, there's mustard greens. We love it. And so I will put these, I will come right outside from the kitchen to the patio, pick what I need for a smoothie. Or, you know, my little baby will come out here and he'll pop a cherry tomato and put it in his mouth. And he's discovering new foods as well. So I just encourage all of you to take a look at this healthy living, this healthy lifestyle, and the way that we are taking back the control of our own food sources. Start a movement, do something that's much larger than yourself. And you know what? When we move to Colorado, I'm just going to break this down, give the plants to my neighbor, pop them all down into the reservoir, and let them get packed away. And when we open them up in California, attach some grow lights to it, and I have my indoor tower. So thank you for allowing me to share. I'm so excited that you are all considering to grow in the Tower Garden and to consume more plant foods via Juice Plus. Thank you very much, Adrienne.
And I've just loved being with you for many Saturdays now. I'm so inspired by you, by the community that you have gathered and created, and it's a ripple effect spreading out. And I just wanted to say I'm feeling in that same space as what you had said, Beverly, in a grateful space. I love how you said that. And as far as your paycheck, Adrienne, I just want to say at the very beginning, it is a perfect reflection of the number of people you have helped to better health and more knowledge and more empowerment and more hope for their future and their family and their communities. And I just am so honored to watch you soar and to soar sideline to you. So it is just a joy. And I wanted to share a little bit of things that I think can help a lot of people and to be a resource. And so one of the things I want to say here is there are 2 big resources that I want to be sure to share. So I'll share them at the beginning, and then I'll share a little bit of my story, which you had asked me to do, Adrienne. And the resources, if you are a person who is a partner already with the Juice Plus company, there are tons of resources. We have a library of incredible recorded calls, similar to this one, and it's called Recordings. That's the name of the page, Recordings. And it's for Juice Plus partners only, but all partners, one team, one mission. And it has a search engine. So it's a fast search library. So if you put any topic in, you're usually going to come up with 2 or 3 or more. Fantastic. It's the best of the best that we put in there, that searchable library called Recordings on Facebook. It's a private group, and you can be added by your team. And then for everyone in communities all around the world, there's the beautiful website called Healthy Living Revolution. And it's part of a larger website called thefreedomrevolution.com. thefreedomrevolution.com. Within that is Healthy Living Revolution, and there are some 40 recordings of health professionals. So I wanted to share a little of my story. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and it's my children my story of getting humble enough to pay attention to Juice Plus is all about my children. So I'm a family physician, trained at Yale School of Medicine, and was in the first group of women ever admitted to Yale College for my undergraduate in 1969, after almost 300 years of men only. It was an amazing experience, and I stayed there in New Haven, Connecticut for medical school. Loved all that experience. I started to realize I'd had a hole in my education, as virtually all MDs do in our great country. We have a missing part, and that's the nutrition piece. Well, as I went into family practice, I eventually migrated into integrative medicine, which many people now call functional medicine. And I went and studied on my own. And that's something that a lot of medical doctors cannot afford to do. The time, the expense, the effort, they don't even have the time, truly. But I was motivated. I flew out to Seattle and got the privilege of studying with Dr. Jonathan Wright, who's an MD, Dr. Alan Gaby, who's an MD, and they teach nutritional medicine for physicians and all interested health professionals, including pharmacists, nurses, nurse practitioners. And I learned so much, and that became my passion. I heard about it day one from a dear friend from middle school, and tell me about Juice Plus. And I just didn't get it. I didn't have a need that I perceived. I had 4 little boys who were healthy. We had a winter garden in North Carolina. That's where it grows all year, your collards, your cabbages, and so forth. And the boys were little, so they ate what we ate. Years went by, and here's what happened. As my children got older, and then they were allowed to use our car to go to school, their school installed vending machines one day. Everything changed after that for me. My perception and my desire of what I was going to do for the rest of my life changed, because all the kids, not just mine, all of them, whatever plant foods they had been eating, basically went to zero. They didn't want any more salads, apples, carrots, celery. It didn't taste good anymore. What happened? Well, we now know that's metabolic programming changed. It happens to all of us. It can change for the worse and quite quickly. It can change for the better and quite quickly. And what happened is that they were feeding a different kind of germs in their gut, and that's called the microbiome today. And it changes people's tastes. We all know that this is true, and you can see it through observation. Well, not only did their taste change, but 4 months, only 4 months after the vending machines came into their lives, my 15-year-old developed exercise-induced asthma. He had never had a trace of that ever before in 15 years. His brother also, they both had recurrent bronchitis, and his brother, the little one, 13 at that time, my youngest, developed acne, moderately severe. And the tide really turned the day my 13-year-old came to me and said, "Mom, would you please write me a prescription for antibiotics that I can take every day for my acne?" That was it, guys. I already knew by observation and clinical intuition that too many antibiotics can lead a person into autoimmunity. And later it came true. We know it is true. There are papers showing that that is true. We want to avoid antibiotics when it's the right thing to avoid. And one of my most heartfelt things I have loved on the Juice Plus journey is our children's health study, where we call it the Family Health Study, or Healthy Starts for Families, where the child is attached for free to their mom or dad's order, or grandmother, grandfather, aunt or uncle, godparent, or close family member. They take Juice Plus, and that child is mentored by them, and that child is free. As long as they're loving it, it's 4 years free for each child. When I found out about all this, because I was at this point looking for help, a kind friend who was new to me, and I met in a separate conference, not about health, personal development course, she asked me if there was something that could help your children. Would you be open to seeing the medical clinical studies about Juice Plus? And I said, I sure would. My mother and father were both medical researchers. They worked together for almost 50 years. And some of their work led to the field of pet therapy. That was a spinoff of their work, proving that dogs and other animals are good therapists, important therapists for human beings. Anyway, I loved what I saw. There were 3 great studies at that time. This was 2000, the end of the year of 2000. And today there are 41 published peer-reviewed studies in good journals done by universities, not done by the company. So I loved what I saw. And with her kind, persistent follow-up, because I was busy and stressed, I just couldn't make a decision. I cannot swallow capsules. It's an airway situation, and it's relatively common. I'd say 10 or 15% of healthy grown-ups cannot swallow a standard size capsule. They just won't tell you, but they also won't swallow it because they know they can't, their airway won't handle it. So I was one of those people. It's been a gift because I learned, why don't you open the capsule? They're easy to open. They're not sealed up like most are. They're ready to open. We open them for babies all through our family and around the world, starting around 6 months old. Before that, they need to be nursing. That's the best food for thousands of reasons. But at around 6 months or so, we open the capsules, and I just started opening them for myself. And I've been doing that for 20 years. I open my capsules once a day. I do 4 of each, actually. It's non-toxic. More is better for me. I have a strong family history of Alzheimer's and multiple family members, some diabetes type 2. Anyway, I have aged so much more strongly and healthfully, and I was eating well. That's why I didn't pay attention to Juice Plus in the beginning. I was eating about as well as most people that I know, and my kids were healthy. So it was my children's downhill spiral in their health with antibiotic after antibiotic for bronchitis, and my passion for helping people reverse asthma. Here's my kid now with asthma. I needed to be humble to learn. And so as I get older, one of the traits I admire most in human beings is humility. And starting with myself, what a learning experience. So long story short, I decided to get started in the health study. And with my child, Dan, who was added for free, about a month later, I asked my husband, who's an emergency physician, would you do this so that our youngest one, the one who wanted a prescription for his skin, which was not going to happen, no. I asked him if he would do that for our youngest. He said, yes, I will do it for our son. And so long story short, we did fall in love with it. After about 6 or 7 months for me, and remember, I was in pretty good health, I realized that I was feeling better than I had in 25 years since I had started bearing children. And I wondered if it was the Juice Plus at first, because it was such a marked improvement in my stamina, my mental focus and ability, clarity, just a sense of profound well-being. And it turns out, yes, indeed, that was the catalyst for my improved well-being. And it just shows that if you're eating very well, you can go further. And I think we need to in today's toxic world. We have a perfect storm. We have more toxins than any generation has ever seen, hundreds of thousands of foreign to nature chemicals that are part of our bloodstream and our cells. You can measure them on babies' cord blood at birth, hundreds of foreign to nature chemicals. And yet, the things that help us detoxify and protect our immune system and protect our cells, which are the plant kingdom, those things are less strong than our ancestors had. So our ancestors had none of these foreign to nature toxic chemicals, and if they had enough food, it was largely very fresh and very varied throughout the year. They ate many different species of plants in their fresh state. They were not trucked 3,000 miles. They were not microwaved, etc. Today, we need stronger plant nutrition than our ancestors, but we have weaker plant nutrition. And that's the recipe for our truly sad state of health and deterioration of health. And I decided eventually to leave allopathic office-based medicine with great respect for all my colleagues. We need all the nurses, all the doctors doing what they're doing. And yet I had seen a different way that I wanted my path to go, which is helping people get empowered with practical tools and knowledge that grows and grows over time because they get interested. That's why I gave those resources at the beginning, where people can learn a ton of very relevant information for their own health and their family. So I decided to start sharing it immediately my friend Susan Wittenbach asked me when I was becoming a mom in the health study, is there anyone you had thought of sharing this with? And I said, every parent I know, I have thought of sharing this with because of the incredible Healthy Starts for Families. She said, well, you might want to consider becoming a partner so that you have the right to share whenever you feel generous. I loved that idea. I had no knowledge of business at all. I did not know what I was doing. I just knew I had found something good, and I mean really good, that people deserve to know about. It's food, it's safe, and everybody's body knows exactly what to do with it for any day of their life, for that particular person at that stage of their life. It's what we're meant to be making our bodies with and repairing with every day. So I decided to share right from the beginning. And within 2 years, we were a national marketing director team, just pure passion for sharing the children's health program. And I think whatever calls to a person's heart, that's what's going to be good for them to share with other people. So it turns out I started sharing day one right from my heart. 3 months later, my son was clear from his asthma meds. I started sharing way before that happened. I didn't know that would happen. I knew my kid needed more plants going into his digestive system and into his bloodstream and into his gut to feed the good germs. And that's the bottom line. All the good germs that we need, there are thousands of different species. They need to work together in large numbers. They form an ecosystem. They are vegan. They eat plants only, the good germs. It doesn't mean we all have to be strict vegans, but it does mean we need to feed ourselves a rainbow of many different species of plant foods on a daily basis. That's what Juice Plus accomplishes, is bridging the gap between the flat out best we can do and where we really need to be today. So I want to turn it back to you. I have a funny story about how I got my sons to actually eat their Juice Plus, if we have time for that. But I just want to honor the time, Adrienne, tonight.
Yes, you can tell us that funny story.
My children said it was one of the stupider things they had heard from me. They were a little bit sassy as teenagers. They were really nice babies. They got to be sassy teenagers, and now they're grown-up men, and they're incredible. I'm so honored to be their mother, and I consider them my friends and my protectors at this stage of my life. I love them so much. We all love our children, our families, our elders. We want the best for them. That's why we share Juice Plus. But at that time, at 13 and 15, my older sons, I have 4. The older ones were already out of the home at that time. They're on it. They're all on it at this point for years, and their children also. But at that time, my 13 and 15-year-old, the ones who had called my attention to the need for Juice Plus, they said, this is stupid and we're not doing it. And they meant it. They were very authentic. They always are. One day, this went on for several weeks. They were not using their Juice Plus, and they did not have trouble swallowing the way their mom does. They were headed out. At this point, our son could drive our car with our permission to take his brother to school. They had their backpacks on, headed out the door, and I had gotten their capsules ready. 2 fruit capsules and 2 veggie capsules for each of them, and a big tall glass of water for each of them. I said, I've got it ready for you. Here you go. And they looked at me with their big brown eyes like their dad, and they said, we didn't take it yesterday, and we're not taking it tomorrow, and we certainly, a few choice words, are not taking it today. So it just came to me in an instant. I'm so thankful. I looked at my watch and I said, what time is soccer practice this afternoon? And they said 3:30. I said, okay, I will meet you at 3:30 at the field with your water and your Juice Plus capsules. And we had this huge stare down. I mean, they looked right into my eyes and my heart, and they knew that I was going to do it. They knew it. I picked my battles carefully with my sons. And this one, they knew it was going to happen, and they could see it. And my son, Dan, who's now an emergency doctor and truly a prince of a man, he said, I see you're going to do it. Just give it to me now. Because they didn't want to see the girls to see them taking capsules at soccer practice. After that, 3 months later, he was clear of his asthma. He believed with all his heart that it was a coincidence. I did not argue with him. That was his perspective as a 16-year-old. And he went to a camp that summer. We did not see him for 2 months. It was in another state. When I picked him up, he was coughing and wheezing, not bad enough to go to the emergency room, but he certainly had the whole thing all over again, bronchitis with some asthmatic component. And the only difference was when all the kids were gone and they couldn't see him anymore. He was in the back of my car. He said, "Mom, I'll take some Juice Plus now." He had never opened his bottles. They still had the shrink wrap on them in his backpack. He got well in about 2 months. And to him, this was still a coincidence. We cannot argue with people or badger them. We just love them where they're at, all people. And the difference is when he went to college, he called me about 2 weeks later and he said, "Mom, it says no smoking in the dorm. They're smoking in the dorm and I cannot stop coughing and I'm literally exhausted." With his next breath, he said, "Would you send me a whole 4-month box of Juice Plus, please?" And I said, "You got it." And he's been on it ever since. It's almost 20 years now. And he's an emergency doctor. He knows how to take care of his health. I'm so grateful. So there's so much more to say, but I just want to honor everyone's time and say we're on a beautiful mission. We need more helping hands and helping hearts. And anyone who wants to join, all are welcome. We are completely inclusive. The only requirement is to be 18 years old. And we welcome all of you. So thank you for letting me share tonight.